guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be installing a low CG kit made by BM3D on my low C mini LMT. The idea behind it is to get your battery ESC receiver as low as possible to improve the handling. Get everything to sit nice and low, lower the center of gravity, and should get better performance all around with really no issues. You know, it's not going to create any kind of problems with the truck. So it seems like a pretty simple install. A couple screws should make a big difference in handling on this truck. And let me get you guys in here closer and we'll do a quick install and let you guys know what I think about it. So the kit here is by a company called BM3D. I'll put a link down below. Pick this up on eBay. Pretty good price. It looks like nice quality. It has like a kind of a carbon fiber weave look to it. Let's get this thing opened up. Comes with, looks like it comes with instructions inside. A little extra piece here. I think that's just like a kind of a chassis support. This would be the receiver tray, and this is the battery tray. It does have little provisions here for your posts with the battery strap. Looks like it goes down to a 1 battery strap setup, which is fine. I don't think there's any issues. Comes with a nice little instruction card here. Really nice. You know, here's the guy's info, BM3D_design. Again, I'll put a link down below, but yeah, let's get this thing installed and see what happens. So pretty basic. All you need is your little driver here, and I already got the main battery tray out. So this one's just going to be 2 screws on either side here. So let's get this out. Okay, so I got everything removed, and this is going to look a little bit different than yours probably because I am running a brushless setup. I have the 16BL30 hobby wing along with a 2435 4500 kV brushless motor. I'm going to check out the directions here and see how it goes. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but he pretty much explains what screws to use where and so forth. So let me get this going here. Okay, so first step after removing your stock trays here, we're going to remove this little cross member right here. Okay, so there's the new cross member, carbon side up, just using the existing screws that came out. I think it's actually stiffer. It stiffens up the chassis a little more. You know, this original one is just kind of really flexible and twisty. This is a much more sturdy piece. And it made me realize after a lot of the hard hits that this thing has taken, I've been doing some stupid stuff with this truck, honestly. And my chassis plates are a little bit kind of, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, it's kind of bent. It's definitely bent up a little bit. So I had to kind of move this around to align it, but I think it's actually going to hold it a little more rigidly. So that's a good thing. Let's move on to the next step. This is this ESC tray. You'll see there's 2 offset screw holes there, and they're going to go on into either of these 2 screws here for this original side plate here. And it just sits between the frame rails. And again, using the existing screws you took out. Okay, that is the ESC tray installed. Sits nice and low. Super easy. I do same thing again. I like how this fits between all the frame rails here and really provides a lot of rigidity. So finally for the battery tray, this is the stock tray. I am going to remove all 4 screws from these posts. We're going to reuse 2 of these posts and put them into the new tray. And then these other 2 screws, because they are a tapered flathead style, that's what's going to go into the tray to hold it down onto the cross member we installed earlier. So pretty simple. Okay, so here is the kit finally installed. Make a note, guys. So when you install the cross member, apparently, I'm not positive, but I think there's a slight angle on the screw holes. So when I first installed the cross member and then bolted the battery tray to the top of it, the battery tray was actually, let's see if I can show you better on this side. The battery tray here actually had a pretty big gap. It was sticking up higher than the frame here. And what I found is I just undid the cross member and flipped it around. There must be a slight angle to it. Flipped it around, remounted it, and now it's perfect. This sits nice and level with the chassis here and should be good to go. So I'm not sure. It didn't mention anything about that in the instructions. It just said to mount the cross member with the carbon print up, which is what I did. So if you run into this and it just looks like it's not sitting flush or even, just flip that cross member around, keep the carbon side up, and you should be good to go. Okay, so here we go, finished product. I am super happy with this. This is the stock battery mounted in here. Fits perfectly. Everything sits nice and low. I mean, look how low the ESC is. It's just right on top of that frame rail. with this quick run, it is a pretty large ESC. It fits in there perfectly. I mean, with the stock, there is some additional instructions with the stock ESC on how to mount it. It pretty much goes over everything on here and how you mount the switch and everything. So it looks like it fits really nice with all the stock stuff too. But just so you can see here, if you do go aftermarket, perfect little setup spot here for my receiver. And what I like about it too, it lowered the receiver enough where I can ditch this little extension for my servo. So that's just less crap in there taking up room. That little short wire from the servo fits right in there, like no problem, right? Like perfect setup. Really cleans everything up nice. I might rotate my motor at some point to get these wires to come out down lower. But the other thing I really like about this setup, if you have anything aftermarket, what you run into with the stock tray is everything sits up so high. I had a bunch of problems figuring out where to put the wires. The wires on my receiver were getting smashed under the front of the cage here. And it fits so much better with this. There's a lot more room between the cage up here and all the wiring. So yeah, it just everything sits a lot lower. And I don't really have any great way to test. You can see my other thing here. I did some balance weight on my wheels with that's just some clay. Balanced my wheels, and I think with the speed, the wheel speed on the 4500 kV, I was noticing a lot of like jiggling and wobbling on my wheels. Especially, I don't know if they were a little worse after I trimmed them. I'm sure, you know, a little bit extra rubber here and there kind of throws them out of balance, but that was a pretty simple thing. Actually just took the wheels off, put them on the front of my Mini T because it's a two-wheel drive, and just spun them and figured out the low spot and put, you know, added clay until they were balanced. But so that's a wrap, guys. I kind of wish I had weighed this whole setup versus this. I mean, not that it's going to make a huge difference, but these two pieces are pretty big and clunky, and they are nice, you know, thick plastic, but I think they're a bit overkill. But more important than the overall weight is the placement of the weight, and you can see how much lower everything sits. So I think it's going to be a vast improvement over stock. So that's it, guys. Pretty simple install. Really happy with the way this turned out. Shout out to BM3D for making a good product. I'm not sponsored or anything. I didn't get it for free. I bought this with my own money. I shelled out a whopping 20 bucks, whatever it was for this, 20 something bucks with shipping. But honestly, really nice product. Install was super easy. Aside from that one little thing where the angle of that cross member threw me off the first time, I'm not sure if maybe it was just my chassis is kind of bent up, so maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. But if you run into that, super easy. Just turn it around, mount it the other way. Great product. I think it's going to make a big difference. Stay tuned, guys, if you want to check out the running video where I test this thing. I might just go out and rip it around outside a little bit just to see if it makes a difference, but I really want to get back to our carpet track where I can kind of see and judge the results of this a little bit better just by seeing how it handles on the carpet. But I also have a ton of side to side. I mean, you know, that's on my list to fix that. I know there are, I think CPE makes little spacers where you can mount these to the outside of the axle, supposed to reduce some of that. But yeah, if you guys know of any good fix, if you've done anything, if you've tried those, let me know. I'm curious to see if you found anything that gets rid of this sloppiness here, because that's not helping with the handling for sure. Especially running a gyro. I'm running a gyro on my receiver here, which makes a huge improvement. But when you have this kind of shakiness, the gyro is going to constantly be trying to correct it, which, you know what, maybe that alone is the reason the gyro works so well, is because this thing is just flopping around all over the place as it's trying to go straight, and the gyro is doing its job and correcting it. But anyway, that's it, guys. Stay tuned if you want to see the progress on this thing. But so far, way happier with this now than when it was stock. So step in the right direction. Stay tuned, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Later.